I'm Jezreel from the Customer Success Team at Consultare Inc. Last week, we covered the personal qualification job descriptions procedure as outlined in SQF 2.1.1.7 under Management Commitment. Today, we'll be focusing on the Blackout Dates Policy, specifically SQF Code or Clause 2.1.1.8, still under Management Commitment requirements. This requirement ensures that senior site management designates and documents defined blackout periods to prevent unannounced recertification audits from occurring when the site is not operating for legitimate business reasons. We'll discuss how to properly establish, justify, and maintain a list of blackout dates, such as seasonal shutdowns, maintenance periods, or major holidays, and how to submit this list to the certification body at least 1 month before the 60-day recertification window for the unannounced audit. By understanding and implementing this requirement, facilities can demonstrate effective management control, ensure audits occur under normal operating conditions, and maintain ongoing compliance with SQF 2.1.1.8 and certification scheduling procedures. By the way, this free training session is sponsored by Consultare Inc. Group, a compliance company. Founded in 2007, we began by assisting businesses with U.S. import and export compliance and have since evolved into a global provider of food safety, quality, and certification support. Today, our services revolve around compliance management software, specialized training, and end-to-end support services that help organizations achieve and maintain compliance with international standards. Through our platform, interlinkiq.com, we offer an integrated compliance management system that streamlines documentation, monitoring, and audit readiness. We also provide dedicated compliance and certification support programs for FSVP, PCQI, SQF, BRCGS, FSSC 22000, ISO 9001, GMP, and HACCP, helping businesses strengthen their regulatory compliance, enhance operational efficiency, and ensure alignment with global food safety and quality management standards. Let's review our training schedule for the free SQF certification familiarization training. For this week, we will cover the Blackout Dates Policy. We'll start today's session by familiarizing ourselves with the SQF 2.1.1.8 Blackout Dates Policy. We will start with a clear description of the requirements, followed by a walkthrough of the compliance action activities, which are your scheduled tasks carried out on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and semi-annual basis to ensure ongoing certification readiness. We will also discuss the importance of the annual review and internal audit activities, which serve as checkpoints to verify the effectiveness of the program and maintain continuous improvement. After this section, we will open the floor for a Q&A session, giving you the opportunity to clarify requirements and ask questions related to implementation. Kindly reserve your questions so we can address that during that portion of the training. And as part of this training, you can request access to a free 90-day trial of our SQF certification management software. This tool helps streamline compliance tasks, assign accountability, and keep audit-ready records. It's also a great way to prepare for SQF certification, as many participants use it to get familiar with the SQF code and practice spotting compliance gaps before an official audit. Finally, upon completion of this training, each participant will receive a familiarization training certificate. To ensure that you receive your certificate, please make sure that you have filled up the free certification familiarization training sign-up form that we shared in the chat box. On the screen, you'll see a sample of the familiarization certificate that you will receive upon completing each session. With that, let's move forward to our training session where we will be working directly with the SQF Compliance Management System software. Let's start by going over the description of the SQF 2.1.8 or 2.1.1.8 Blackout Dates Policy. Please take a look at the description on the screen. It says to implement SQF 2.1.1.8, senior site management shall designate defined blackout periods and that prevent unannounced recertification audits from occurring out of season or when the site is not operating for legitimate business reasons. The list of blackout dates and their justification shall be submitted to the certification body a minimum of 1 month before the 60-day recertification window for the agreed upon and announced audit. So you may update or edit the description as needed to reflect any changes or revisions, especially when the new edition 10 will be released. To implement this program, we have created a list of action items in the Compliance tab. So this section will help FSQA or SQF practitioner to stay organized by scheduling tasks according to frequency, whether they are conducted or performed daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or semi-annual activities. So here are some examples of your compliance action items or the tasks that you need to perform to comply with the blackout dates policy. So for your daily activities, this may include monitor for operational or schedule changes, coordinate with relevant departments if change occurs, and prepare immediate update to blackout list if needed. For your weekly action items, this might include reviewing upcoming production schedule, communicate blackout periods to key personnel, and validate justification for any changes. And for your quarterly um, action items, this might include reviewing blackout periods versus operational calendar, conduct audit readiness check, coordinate with certification body if necessary. And for your biannual or semi-annual activities, it includes identifying and setting blackout periods for upcoming audit cycle, obtain management approval, submit blackout periods to certification body, and document in management review. So basically, this serves as your checklist of your compliance activities that you need to perform to comply with the blackout dates policy. You can either add your own compliance action items, which is based on your actual process, or you can choose to um, let our team preload the required activities for you to perform. So to complete these activities, we've provided work instructions here in the instruction and evidence section. So this work instruction serves as your guide along with the required artifacts or records that you need to document completion. For example, let's pick one specific compliance action item. This one here, the fourth one, review upcoming production schedule. So let's click on the view option of the work instruction. So here you can see the compliance activities that you need to perform for you to complete the reviewing of the upcoming production schedule. First is to obtain the latest production schedule. So you can complete this by requesting or accessing the most recent version of the production schedule from the production or planning department. And upon completing this step, you need to fill up the production schedule, the production planning log, or a communication email will also help you in performing this specific task. The second step is to check for alignment with blackout dates and key events. So here you will review the schedule to ensure that no production activities conflict with approved blackout periods, maintenance shutdowns, or major events. So artifacts or records that you need to complete are approved blackout list, maintenance calendar, or production plan. Next is to identify high risk or high volume production runs. So you do this by highlighting runs or product lines that may require increased QA oversight, sanitation controls, or resource allocation. Artifacts or records involved in this step are risk assessment log, production forecast, or QA resource plan. Next step is to verify sanitation and verification scheduling. So you need to ensure that sanitation activities, pre-op inspections, and verification checks are scheduled appropriately before and after production runs. You need to have the sanitation schedule, pre-op inspection checklist, or verification plan in place for this particular step. Then you need to coordinate with key departments. So this can be done by communicating with the production, maintenance, sanitation, or the QA departments to verify readiness and alignment with upcoming production schedule. So you need your meeting notes, email communication, or coordination log as proof of compliance. And then next is to adjust food safety and compliance activities if needed. So you can complete this by revising or adjusting monitoring schedules, verification activities, and audit plans to support the updated production plan. You need to complete the revised monitoring schedule or updated verification plan or change control form. And finally, you need to document and file the review. So this can be done by maintaining documentation of the production schedule review and any changes or actions taken to support compliance and operational planning. And you need to record that in your review log or annotated production schedule or approval or sign off sheet. So this is just an example on the work instruction that you need to perform to comply or to complete a specific action item. Now let's check how we can complete this specific action item, because our goal is to switch all the no's into yes to make sure that you are complying with this particular program. So we've uploaded here a production schedule with approved blackout list, because the action item here states that review upcoming production schedule. So the evidence of compliance will be the production schedule with approved blackout list. So let's take a look at the form or the record here. So this record shows the facility's annual production schedule for fiscal 2026 fiscal year. So you have here organized the schedule organized according to monthly plan. For January, the production status is classified as normal production with 22 days of operational days. And also indicated here are the scheduled downtime or maintenance. So these are your non-production days from January 1 to 3 and January 27 to 31 for your equipment calibration and preventive maintenance. And then you also have here, let's pick another set of dates for your for August 2026. Uh, there is a scheduled staff training week for August 28 to 31. So this will be added to your blackout dates, because these are non-production days. So after getting or after forecasting the production schedule overview for the entire year, you may start to fill in your approved blackout periods. So these are your non-production or non-operational days. And you also have here the impact to your operation, the justification, and the approved column by the senior management. So this document um, complies with SQF Blackout Dates Policy by identifying justified blackout dates, and it also serves as evidence that senior site management has defined and approved these blackout dates, ensuring that no unannounced audits occur when the site is not in operation. So your aim is to complete every annual review item here, or I mean every action item here, and switch the no's to yes so that you are audit ready. So once again, these are just examples of compliance best practices that you can adapt in your facility and in your operation. You may also customize or develop your own action items tailored to your specific processes. Now let's go over to the Annual Review tab, which also serves as your gap assessment tool. This tab is designed as an internal audit checklist in the form of questionnaires aligned with the SQF code. It lists all required annual review items to help you maintain compliance with the requirements. For example, under the Blackout Dates Policy, you may find questions such as, is there a documented blackout dates policy in place? Does the policy clearly define what qualifies as legitimate blackout periods? Does the policy identify the responsible personnel or team for approving blackout dates? Does the policy outline how blackout dates are submitted to the certification body? Does the policy require a clear justification for each blackout date? Are blackout dates reviewed at least annually or when operational changes occur? Does the policy include a procedure for updating and communicating changes to the certification body? Is the policy aligned with SQF and certification body requirements on allowable blackout dates? Is the blackout dates policy reviewed and approved by senior site management? And is the policy accessible to relevant personnel involved in audit preparation and scheduling? So let's take one annual review item as an example and see how we can demonstrate compliance. So let's pick the first question. Is there a documented blackout dates policy in place? So this is the fundamental requirement on complying with the blackout dates policy. The facility or the company needs to have the blackout dates policy in place. So let's take a look at the work instruction on how to create or draft a blackout dates policy. First is to identify legitimate blackout periods. The senior site management and the SQF practitioner shall identify legitimate blackout periods during which unannounced SQF recertification audits cannot be conducted. So this includes seasonal shutdowns, non-operational days, holidays, or major maintenance. You need to complete your blackout dates planning worksheet or calendar of operations. Next, after identifying the blackout periods, you need to draft the blackout dates policy. So the SQF practitioner or the FSQA shall prepare a formal blackout dates policy that includes the purpose, scope, justification criteria, approval process, and list of defined blackout. So the artifact or record that needs to be completed here are your draft blackout dates policy or policy template. Next is review and approve the policy. The drafted policy shall be reviewed by relevant departments like the operations, HR, or the FSQA, and approved by the senior site management before implementation. After that, you need to control the policy under document management system. The approved blackout dates policy shall be assigned a document control number, version, and effective date, then uploaded into the document control system to align with the quality management system procedure. So your record and artifacts here are your control blackout dates policy and document control register. After that, you need to communicate the policy to relevant personnel. So the SQF practitioner or the FSQA shall communicate the approved blackout dates policy to key personnel involved in SQF audit preparation, scheduling, and plant operations. Next is to submit the blackout dates to certification body. So the SQF practitioner in your facility shall submit the approved blackout dates to the certification body in accordance with SQF code requirements and contractual obligations. So you can do this by email or letter submission to the certification body. And you also need a submission confirmation that the letter or the request was received by the certification body. And then after that, you need to update the policy as needed. Any changes to operational schedules or business conditions shall prompt a review and update of the blackout dates policy subject to management approval. So this includes dates or non-operation dates that are not projected beforehand. So any changes to operational schedules needs to be updated. And then next is to conduct annual policy review. The SQF practitioner shall conduct an annual review of the blackout dates policy to ensure its continued accuracy, relevance, and compliance with SQF requirements. And then finally, you need to maintain policy records for audit readiness. All records related to the creation, approval, submission, and revision of the blackout dates policy shall be retained in accordance with the company's document retention procedure. So these are the steps on how to draft blackout dates policy. Now let's take an example of a drafted and approved blackout dates policy to comply with this annual review question. Is there a documented blackout dates policy in place? Suppose you're the SQF practitioner for ABC manufacturing company. So let's open the evidence of compliance, which is the blackout dates policy for this specific company. Please bear with me as I open the document. So this policy will show the procedure and responsibilities for defining and approving periods when unannounced SQF recertification audits cannot occur due to legitimate business reasons. So let me reshare or reload the page here. Okay, so we'll go back to the annual review and open the blackout dates policy for ABC Manufacturing Company. By the way, this blackout dates policy list the company's approved blackout dates for the entire year, which includes holidays, maintenance shutdowns, and training weeks, along with their justification. So this record will show or will outline the management's duty to review, update, and submit the blackout list annually to ensure compliance with SQF code. Actually, you may also use this policy. Okay, here it is. So you can see here the blackout dates policy, who is the originator or who is the one who drafted this policy, and then the reviewer and the approver, the revision date, the effective date, the publication date. So you have here the basic content of your blackout dates policy, which includes your purpose, scope, and then the policy and the procedure. So as you can see here, the blackout period is defined. The dates are set here, as well as the justification on why the blackout period needs to be included in the policy. And then you also have here the responsibility. What are the responsibility of the senior site management as well as the SQF practitioner? So part of the SQF practitioner's responsibility is to inform, to submit the approved blackout list to the certification body at least 1 month before the 60-day recertification window. So actually this policy will also cover other annual review questions here below, like does the policy clearly define what qualifies as legitimate blackout periods? Does the policy identify the responsible personnel down to almost all of the annual review questionnaires here. The compliance depends or are based on the information outlined in the blackout dates policy. So this simple functionality helps you measure your compliance progress while also prepare your site for both internal audits or external SQF certification audits by your certification body.